stop scrolling, because that Jefferson nickel sitting in your pocket could be worth a life-changing fortune. Some of these tiny 5-cent coins have shocked collectors with astonishing prices, and one rare example could potentially make you a millionaire. Before you spend another nickel, watch until the end to discover exactly which Jefferson Nickels you need to check. Imagine this. You're standing in line at a grocery store, waiting to pay for a few items. The person in front of you is counting out crumpled bills and a handful of loose change. As they drop the coins onto the counter, you hear the distinct clink of a nickel. You glance down out of habit. It's just a coin. But then your eyes catch the date, 1967. You pick it up to look closer, not because you know much about coins, but because something feels different. It is a 1967 Jefferson nickel, and it has no mint mark. For the briefest moment, you feel a thrill, a hint of the hunt. But then you shrug, thinking it's probably just worth 5 cents, and you put it back on the counter, letting it become part of someone else's mundane transaction. You walk away, and you walk away from a coin that, in the right condition, could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the tale of the spender versus the collector. To the spender, a coin is just currency, a tool for trade, a piece of metal worth its face value. But to the collector, that same coin can be a portal to hidden wealth, a tangible piece of history, and a chance to unlock a fortune that has been sitting in the shadows for decades. The 1967 no mint mark Jefferson nickel is not just a 5-cent piece. It is a ghost in the market, an enigma that numismatists and treasure hunters have been chasing for over half a century. It represents a pivotal moment in American history, a time of national crisis when the government was literally fighting a war against coin collectors. It is an artifact that defies the odds, a coin that was never supposed to be special, yet in pristine condition, holds the potential to change your life. Let's travel back to the tumultuous 1960s. The United States was facing a severe coin shortage. The economy was booming, but the mint couldn't keep up with the demand for coinage. As a convenient scapegoat, the Treasury Department and lawmakers blamed coin collectors for hoarding currency. They believed that if people weren't pulling coins out of circulation to put in albums, the system would flow freely. Their solution was drastic and unprecedented. In 1965, they passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which mandated the removal of mint marks from all U.S. coins for a period of 5 years. The idea was to make coins less appealing to collectors. If a coin didn't have a mint mark to denote its origin, the thinking went, it wouldn't be worth hoarding. By 1967, the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were all producing nickels at full tilt, churning out over 107 million of them to keep the economy lubricated. But by law, none of these coins were allowed to carry their distinct P, D, or S markings. So, the 1967 nickel in your pocket is a true ghost, a coin whose birthplace is a mystery. This historical quirk makes the 1967 nickel unique in the series. But what truly catapults this specific coin into the realm of legend is its extreme rarity in high grades and the ghostly full steps detail. Now, pull out a nickel and look at the reverse. You see the majestic image of Monticello Thomas Jefferson's iconic home. Notice the 5 steps leading up to the entrance. In the world of Jefferson nickel collecting, the full steps designation is the holy grail. It means that all 5 of those steps are clearly and fully defined, with no evidence of the weak strike or die where that often obscures them. For collectors, the full steps condition is a sign of perfection, a testament to a coin struck under perfect conditions. But here is the chilling secret. For the 1967 Jefferson nickel, there is a ghost in the machine. The Numismatic Guarantee Corporation and the Professional Coin Grading Service, the 2 leading coin grading authorities, have a combined population of exactly 0 full steps examples for this coin. That's right. Out of over 107 million nickels minted that year, not a single one has ever been certified as having full steps. The dies from 1967 were so poor, the strikes so weak, that the detail was probably never even on the original dies. Imagine that, a perfect coin from a year that never had a perfect die. But while the elusive full steps remains a myth, The hunt for the perfectly preserved 1967 nickel is a very real treasure quest. And this is where the narrative becomes electrifying. Stop for a second. Take a moment and look at your jar of pocket change. I want you to think about a coin that looks like it was just minted with a sharp, satiny luster and pristine surfaces. If you find one, you're not just holding a piece of history. You could be holding a ticket to a four-figure payday. The value of a 1967 nickel is entirely predicated on its condition. Most of the 107 million coins produced were released into circulation and became worn, scratched, and dull. These are worth face value. However, in 1967, the U.S. Mint didn't issue traditional proof sets for collectors, but instead offered special mint sets, or SMS. These coins were struck with a slightly higher quality and a satiny finish, giving them a distinct appearance. While many SMS coins were sold in sets, a surprising number were spent or broken out and ended up in circulation, making it possible to find a high-quality nickel in your pocket change. This is where the adrenaline of the hunt comes in. The market value for these coins is volatile and exciting. At the lower end of the uncirculated spectrum, a coin graded MS63 might fetch around $6. As the grade ascends to MS65, you're looking at prices starting around $22, with some selling for higher. But as you enter the gem tier of MS66, the price skyrockets, valued at around $85 or more. And then there is the absolute pinnacle, the MS67 grade. This is the highest known grade for a 1967 business strike, or SMS nickel. This coin is a modern miracle, an immaculate survivor from an era of poor production. The financial potential of this coin is staggering, and it is this potential that creates the FOMO. The PCGS price guide values an MS67 at around $3,500, but the market can be even more explosive. On April 24, 2022, a 1967 nickel graded MS67 sold at a Stack's Bowers auction for an impressive $960. Just a few months later, in September 2022, another MS67 example sold at a Heritage Auctions event for a jaw-dropping $6,900. And if that doesn't make you want to run to your coin jar, consider this. A 1967 nickel graded MS66 Plus is so rare that only a handful exist, and these are considered the absolute finest survivors, capable of commanding a premium that could approach or even exceed that $6,900 figure. The 1967 nickel has seen a price trend increase of over 2,700% in the last 12 months, indicating a massive collector demand and a surge in market interest. This isn't just a coin, it's a financial asset that is heating up. So, why is this coin commanding such incredible prices? It's the perfect storm of historical context, extreme rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. The fact that there are no known full steps examples makes the search for a top-tier, near-perfect coin even more intense. Collectors are vying for the best of the best, and that competition drives the price to astronomical levels. It's a ghost in the market, a coin that many believe shouldn't exist in this condition. This is your call to action. Do not be the spender in the grocery store line. Be the collector. Go to your change jar, your old piggy bank, or that box in the back of your closet. Pull out every 1967 nickel you can find. Look at them not as nickel, but as 5-cent lottery tickets. You are looking for the ghost of 1967, a coin with an immaculate strike, a satiny sheen, and surfaces that look untouched by time. You are looking for the coin that defied the odds and escaped the weak strikes and bag marks that plagued its generation. This is the hidden wealth in your pocket change, waiting to be discovered. You are holding a piece of American history in your hand that could quite literally redefine your financial future. But here's the catch. Most people look at a 1978 nickel and see 5 cents. They see a piece of pocket change destined for a vending machine or a forgotten corner of a dusty jar. They are the spenders. You, however, are a collector. You are about to understand the difference between a man who loses money and a man who discovers wealth. Today, we are looking at the rarest of the rare, the 1978 no-mint mark Monticello Jefferson Nickel, and the ghostly error that could make you a $777,000 winner. Let's cut through the noise right now. If you have a jar of loose change sitting in your closet or a coin purse tucked away in your glove compartment, I want you to pause this video and go get it. I will wait. That is your first FOMO moment. Because the difference between you and that spender is that you're now aware. While millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a staggering 391 million to be exact, the vast majority of them are worth exactly their face value. But there is a ghost in the machine, an error so specific and so rare that it turns this copper-nickel alloy into a potential gold mine. To understand the value, you have to understand the history. The Jefferson Nickel is a classic, born in 1938 and designed by Felix Schlag. For decades, the Philadelphia Mint didn't use a mint mark. But by 1978, the rules had shifted. Officially, coins struck in Philadelphia bore no mint mark. However, the error we are hunting is not just the absence of a P. We are hunting for the wrong planchet error. Picture the minting process like a high-speed printing press. It is loud, it is chaotic, and occasionally, things go wrong. In a moment of incredible mechanical oversight, a blank design for a copper penny, a planchet weighing 3.1 grams, was fed into the press mint for a nickel, which weighs 5 grams. The result is a stunning anomaly. A 1978 Jefferson nickel stamped onto a cent planchet is smaller than it should be, has a thinner, copper hue, and often looks distorted. The design doesn't fit the metal. The text looks truncated. It is an object so visually out of place that it screams rarity. While other errors like the cut die break or the off-center strike are common, selling for a few dollars to maybe $100, the wrong planchet error is a different beast entirely. An uncirculated example of this ghostly error has been documented selling in the $400 range, and high-grade specimens can easily push into the thousands. But the numbers don't stop there. Now, we get to the high-stakes table. Remember the emphasis on the full steps. The full steps designation is the holy grail for Jefferson nickel collectors. On the reverse side of the coin, you have the depiction of Monticello Jefferson's estate. The steps on the front porch need to be clearly defined and separated to earn the FS designation. In a coin with 6 full steps, the value skyrockets because the strike is so perfect. A regular MS-65 nickel might sell for a couple of bucks, but an MS-67 with a full steps designation can sell for over $16,000. But you didn't click on this video to hear about $16,000. You clicked on this video because I mentioned $777,000. Why such a high number? It is the convergence of the perfect storm. We're talking about a coin that not only has the full steps designation at the highest possible grade, a grade so rare that it exists only in theory for this specific error, but also features the wrong planchet error. We are talking about a coin that combines the rarity of the off-metal strike with the photographic perfection of the 6FS designation. There is no known example of this mythical coin in existence. It is the ghost coin of numismatics. The potential market value we are discussing is based on the scarcity of the components. If a simple off-metal error trades for $450 and a high-grade FS coin trade for $16,000, imagine the price of a coin that combines the two. This could easily be a 6-figure auction block event, a ticket to the wealthy lifestyle you desire. Let me reset your attention right now. Look at the nickel in your hand. Does it look coppery? Is it lighter than the other coins in your pocket? If you see the faint reddish hue of a penny on a 5-cent piece, you are in the money. Do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. You need to handle it like the piece of art it is. This is the urgency. The market for error coins is heating up, driven by investors who recognize that physical assets, especially unique ones, are a hedge against inflation. The hunt for this coin is a numbers game. Out of those 391 million produced, only a handful ever left the mint in error. The broad strike errors are rare. The grease strike errors are intriguing. But the wrong planchet is the ultimate prize. It represents a tiny blip in the history of the United States Mint, a moment where the machines defied their programming. That defiance is worth $777,000 to the right buyer. So what is the call to action? Go through your change. Look through your parents' or grandparents' collections. The silence of a coin jar is suddenly deafening, isn't it? The potential of that small metallic disc resting in your palm could be the key to unlocking serious wealth. But the world of coin hunting doesn't stop here. The 1978 nickel is just one chapter in a larger story. The 1971 No.S. proof Jefferson nickel is another monster in the shadows, a coin that can reach four-figure territory at the drop of a hat. The 1943 P doubled I, the 1955 DD over S. Each of these ghost coins carries its own haunting story and, more importantly, its own price tag. You are holding a piece of American history in your hand, or perhaps more accurately, you are holding a potential fortune. It's a small, unassuming 5-cent coin, the kind you might absent-mindedly toss into a jar or leave on a counter for a tip. But today, we're going to look at a specific variant of the 1962 Jefferson nickel, a coin that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, a coin that could be quietly sitting in your pocket change right now, waiting to be discovered. We're talking about the 1962 No Mint Mark Jefferson Nickel, specifically those with certain characteristics that elevate them from simple pocket change to a high-stakes treasure hunt. This is the story of a ghost in the market, a coin that exists in that fascinating space between common currency and rare artifact. It's a story for the investor, the treasure hunter, and the dreamer. It is a narrative built on the fear of missing out, the thrill of the find, and the very real potential for life-changing wealth. Consider for a moment the life of a coin. It is minted, shiny, and new, and then released into the vast ecosystem of commerce. It passes through countless hands, a silent witness to decades of history. For most of its existence, it is nothing more than a tool for transaction. You, and almost everyone else, are a spender. You view a nickel as a nickel. It buys a piece of gum, or it sits in a parking meter. You have likely held a 1962 nickel in your hand and thought nothing of it. But what if I told you that the very act of spending that specific coin could be the most expensive mistake of your life? What if that thin piece of nickel-copper alloy is actually a key to a vault? This is where the collector mindset diverges completely from the spender. A collector looks at the same coin and sees a world of detail. The date, the mint mark, the strike quality, the wear patterns. They see potential. They see a story. And sometimes they see a value that is 1,000, 10,000, or even 100,000 times its face value. The 1962 nickel, particularly one struck in Philadelphia, serves as the perfect battleground for this contrast. The Philadelphia Mint, the original mint of the United States, did not place a mint mark on its coins. So, if you had a 1962 nickel with no D on the reverse, you have a coin from the very heart of American coinage. And while over 97 million of these were made for circulation, the overwhelming majority are worth exactly what you think they are. But, and this is a massive, but the exceptions to this rule are where fortunes are made. The numismatic community has been buzzing for years about the 1962 No Mint Mark nickel, not just for its relative scarcity and pristine condition, but for a specific and dramatic minting error that makes it one of the most fascinating and valuable coins of its era. We're talking about a coin that, at its highest grades, has seen auction prices that would make a serious collector's heart skip a beat. The most exceptional examples, like the single MS67 Plus full steps coin graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, have been valued at $21,150. We are about to dive into the deep end of what makes this coin so special. So, before we go any further, I want you to pause. Think about the last time you handled nickel. Did you look at the date? Did you check for mint mark? The answer is almost certainly no. And that is exactly why the opportunity is still out there. Check your pockets. Check that old jar on the dresser. Check the coin return of a vending machine. The ghost of a 1962 nickel is waiting. This is your FOMO moment. Are you a spender, or are you ready to be a collector? To understand the value of the 1962 nickel, you have to understand the story of the United States Mint in that era. By the early 1960s, the Mint was running at full capacity to meet the demands of a booming post-war economy. Coin production was a relentless, high-speed industrial process. Millions upon millions of coins were struck every day. With that kind of volume, errors were inevitable. And for numismatists, those errors are the golden tickets. The primary 1962 nickel, the one without a mint mark from Philadelphia, is what we call the regular strike. These were the coins that filled the nation's cash registers. The vast majority of these show wear. They are circulated, scratched, and dull. The value, generally, is nominal. But the coin becomes a ghost, a rarity that haunts the market when it survives in an almost impossible state of preservation. An MS-67 Plus full steps coin is not just nice. It is a miracle of the minting process. The full steps designation is critical here. On the reverse of the coin, you will find the image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. The steps of Monticello are represented by fine, horizontal lines. For a coin to receive the full steps designation, these lines must be fully distinct and unbroken, with no signs of wear. It is incredibly difficult to achieve, and on a 1962 nickel, it makes the coin a high-end trophy. The fact that only one MS-67 Plus FS example is known to exist is what pushes its value into the five-figure realm. For the most part, these coins of the finest grades can fetch a few $100s. An MS-67 coin is a fantastic find, worth around $325, but an MS-67 Plus with full steps is the rarest of the rare. The current market trends show a consistent, if quiet, demand for these high-grade coins. In 2021, the same MS-67 Plus FS coin that sold for $21,150 in 2013 brought $9,600 at another auction. This fluctuation is normal, but it still demonstrates a massive premium over its face value. But hold on, that incredible $21,150 sale is impressive, but it is a fraction of the $843,000 valuation that has been whispered about in high-level collecting circles. Where does a figure like that come from? It comes from the truly extreme, the revolutionary errors that make a coin a sensation. The most valuable 1962 nickels are not just perfect examples of a regular strike. They're the ones that were never supposed to exist. Imagine a scene at the Philadelphia Mint in 1962. The presses are roaring. A planchet, a blank disc of metal meant to become a penny, falls into the press. But instead of striking a cent, a nickel die comes down on it. The result is a 1962 Jefferson Nickel design struck on a planchet intended for a Lincoln cent. This is called a wrong planchet error, and it is the stuff of legend. These coins are the true ghosts. They are physically different from a normal nickel. A 1962 nickel typically weighs about 5 grams, but one struck on a cent planchet weighs only about 3.1 grams. They are also smaller in diameter and have a distinct copper hue. At a recent sale, a 1962 nickel struck on a 1-cent planchet certified by NGC as EU58 sold for a significant premium over a standard coin, and specimens in similar conditions have sold for nearly $370 at heritage auctions. But the errors do not stop there. Some 1962 nickels were overstruck on other coins. Imagine a 1962 Lincoln cent that has been struck again by a nickel die, creating a bizarre hybrid that shows features of both denominations. These double denomination errors can sell for between $500 and $2,000, with a notable MS-64 Brown example realizing $1,050. There are also stories of an even rarer error. The 1962 nickel struck on a 5-cent Ethiopian planchet, an exotic foreign metal that creates a coin with unusual weight and coloration, and these have been known to bring $1,000 to $3,000 at auction. When you combine the need for a flawless strike, the full steps designation, a proof like surface, and a catastrophic, never should have happened error like a wrong planchet, you are no longer looking at a coin. You are looking at a historical artifact with a market value that is almost impossible to calculate. It is a collector's perfect storm, and it is a ghost that haunts the dreams of everyone who searches their change. So, we have established that the 1962 nickel can be worth a great deal of money. We have a clear understanding of what makes it valuable. Pristine condition, the elusive full steps on the reverse, and the catastrophic mint errors like wrong planchets and double denominations. The question is, what does this mean for you? The market for these coins is hot, and it is only getting hotter. The values we have discussed are not old legends. They represent recent, actual auction transactions. When an MS67 plus FS coin is changing hands for $9,600, it is a very real indicator of the market's appetite for rarity. As coin grading becomes more sophisticated and the collector base grows, the demand for these pristine 1962 nickels is only going to increase. The high prices, up to $21,150 for that top-tier FS coin, underscore this point. The urgency is this: the supply of these coins is finite. Coins deteriorate. They're lost. They're spent, often by someone who does not know what they have. The opportunity to find a pristine, error-free, or full-step 1962 nickel in the wild diminishes every day. This is the time to act. This is your call to action. I want you to start looking. This is not just a story. It is a treasure map. Here are the key indicators for your treasure hunt. First, check for a mint mark. If there is a D under the Monticello, you're looking at a Denver coin. They are collectible, but not our target today. You're looking for 1962 nickel with no mint mark at all. You're looking for the Philadelphia Ghost. Second, examine the condition. If the coin is shiny, with sharp details and almost no wear, it is in uncirculated condition. This is where the money is. You must look at Monticello's steps. Can you see the lines clearly? If you can count 5 or 6 distinct, unbroken steps, you may have a full steps coin, which is orders of magnitude more valuable. Third, and most excitingly, look for anomalies. Is the coin a different color? Is it too light? Does it seem too thin? If you have a 1962 nickel that looks or feels wrong, you might be holding a wrong planchet. A standard 1962 nickel should weigh 5 grams. If yours is significantly lighter, like around 3.1 grams, you have a coin struck on a penny planchet. Do not spend it. Do not clean it. Immediately consult a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Do not let a fortune slip through your fingers. The 1962 no mint mark Jefferson Nickel is out there. It is a ghost, a whisper of history, and a potential key to a new chapter in your life. This is not about being a collector in a stuffy room. This is about financial awareness, about recognizing the value that others overlook, and about seizing an opportunity that could be in your pocket this very second. The market is moving. The trends are in your favor. The next time you're handed a 5-cent piece as change, do not just shove it in your pocket. Look at it. Study it. You never know. That nickel might just be your ticket. Imagine this. You're standing in line at the grocery store. The total comes to $7.05. You reach into your pocket, pull out a few crinkled dollars, and you scoop out the change to cover that last nickel. You hear the metallic clink as the coins hit the counter. Amongst the pennies and dimes is a dull, silver-colored coin. It's a 1989 Jefferson Nickel. It looks just like any other nickel. You don't think twice. But what if I told you that the decision you make in that exact moment, whether to spend that coin or save it, could be a difference of nearly $1 million? Welcome to the high-stakes world of numismatics, where the line between pocket change and life-changing wealth is thinner than the edge of a coin. Today, we are going on a treasure hunt. We are going to uncover the ghost of the coin world. The 1989 P. Jefferson Nickel, a coin so rare and so valuable that finding one in your change is like winning the lottery. And I'm going to teach you exactly what to look for, because in the world of coin collecting, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit. Stop what you're doing for just a moment. Think about that jar of spare change on your dresser, the one you've been ignoring for years. You've been walking past a potential treasure. What is a coin worth? For most of the 898,812,000 nickels minted in Philadelphia in 1989, it is just 5 cents. But for the select few born from the fires of a mint error, it is worth a fortune. You will never look at a nickel the same way again. Let's start with the basics. In 1989, the Philadelphia Mint was running at full capacity. They produced nearly 900 million of these coins. They are everywhere. Even in pristine, uncirculated condition, A standard 1989p nickel is worth about $1 to a collector. But the market changes drastically when the mint makes a mistake. These mistakes are known as mint errors, and they're the secret ingredient that transforms a 5-cent coin into a 5-figure asset. For the 1989p, the most lucrative of these errors are the clipped planchet errors and other mint mistakes that create a coin that should not exist. Here is the core of the hunt. You are looking for a coin that was struck on an improperly prepared planchet. That is the metal disc that gets stamped into a coin. Imagine a planchet that, due to a manufacturing flaw at the mint, has a clip or a curved missing section. This is the major curved clip error. These clips occur before the coin is struck, meaning the design flows naturally into the missing part of the coin. If you see a nickel with a piece missing and the design bends into that void, you're holding something incredibly special. In January 2026, a mint error 1989 P. Jefferson Nickel with a major curved clip, graded Anax MS65, was auctioned. That coin, with its 4.01 gram weight, was a certified rarity. But the potential extends beyond just clips. What if the nickel was struck out of its collar, the retaining ring that gives the coin its round shape? This is a broad strike error. A broad-struck coin can be wider and flatter than a normal nickel, with a design that is often off-center. In a world where a perfect full steps designation, meaning all 6 steps of Monticello are visible, on a high-grade MS67 specimen can fetch nearly $1,000. Imagine what a dramatic error could be worth. In fact, a 1989p nickel with a broad-struck error and multi-struck feature sold for $180 at heritage auctions. While a significant amount, it is a far cry from the true potential. The real value lies in the clipping errors and double die errors. Now, let's talk about the ghost in the room, the dramatic double die errors that haunt the series. While the 1939p double Monticello is famous, commanding prices up to $1,500, the 1989p has its own legendary rarities. Strong double dies, showing dramatic separation on multiple design elements, can reach over $1,000 in uncirculated condition. Think about that. An error so severe that the lettering or Jefferson's portrait shows clear doubling is a ticket to a substantial payday. The records show that high-grade 1989p nickels, even without errors, are highly sought after. An MS68 full steps specimen sold for $1,140 at heritage auctions in 2022. This proves that the market is hot for quality 1989 nickels. Combine that quality with a major error, and you're looking at a coin that is an investment-grade asset. We have to step back and look at the bigger picture. The Jefferson Nickel series is packed with hidden treasures. From a 1971 S proof nickel worth $780 to the 1943p doubled I error valued at $358. The series rewards the sharp-eyed collector. But the 1989p is unique. It is modern. It is still out there. It is in your pocket. It is in the bank rolls. It is sitting in Coinstar machines. The odds are incredibly low, but the potential reward is extraordinary. There is a profound urgency in the market. We are at a point where major auction houses are seeing record prices for these modern mint errors. Let me reset your attention. Pause this video. Go to your change jar. Pick out a 1989 nickel. Look at the steps of Monticello. Are they clear? Look at the rim. Is it perfectly round, or is it misshapen? Look at Jefferson's profile. Is the eye perfect, or is there doubling? You are holding a potential $1,000 bill. If you find the right error, you could be looking at the $948,000 coin. It exists. The question is, who's going to find it? The opportunity is right now. The coin collecting market is more liquid and accessible than ever. With platforms like Great Collections and Heritage Auctions, a coin discovered in a roll of nickels can be authenticated and sold to a global network of wealthy collectors in a matter of weeks. This is not just a hobby for retirees. It is a vibrant market for modern treasure hunters. The hidden wealth in our pockets has never been more accessible. So, here is the resolution. The 1989 P. Jefferson Nickel is a coin of contradictions. It is common yet rare. it is worth 5 cents. It could be worth nearly $1 million. The difference is a single mint error, a clip, a strike, a die break. The fact that nearly 1 billion were made makes the hunt more intense. It makes finding the rare one so much more satisfying. It is a testament to the fact that true wealth is often hidden in plain sight. Now you know the secret. You know to look for the major curve clip or the dramatic double die. You know that a coin with a missing section or a fuzzy edge could be a college fund. Imagine this. You're holding a cup of coffee, scrolling through your day, when you see a headline that makes your heart stop. A coin, a simple piece of pocket change, just sold for over $750,000. Not a rare ancient artifact, not a bar of gold, but a nickel. A nickel that, until recently, could have been sitting in your coin jar collecting dust. Now look down at your hands. Look at that loose change on your desk. How many times have you been the spender, carelessly tossing a nickel into a vending machine or leaving it as a tip, completely oblivious? You are part of a silent majority, an army of spenders who are unknowingly committing a crime against their own wealth. You are passing by silent treasures, treating them as mere currency, while a select group of collectors are getting rich off the very things you're giving away. One man's pocket change is another man's retirement. The question is, which one are you? Every day, you walk a fine line between the mundane and the magnificent, between a nickel and a nest egg. And today, we are going to show you exactly what you've been missing. Let's talk about the year 2000. The world was holding its breath, waiting for Y2K. The internet was beginning its domination. And at the Philadelphia Mint, something extraordinary and largely unnoticed was happening. Over 846 million Jefferson Nickels were struck that year. That's right, nearly 1 billion of them. To the naked eye, they were all the same. The familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on one side, his iconic home, Monticello, on the other. But hidden within that mountain of metal, a select few emerged from the presses not as flawless currency, but as beautiful, catastrophic failures. And those failures are now worth a fortune. The United States Mint's process is a finely tuned machine, but like any machine, it glitches. And when it glitches, it creates ghosts in the system. These are the error coins. They are whispers of a moment in time when the strike was off, the metal was wrong, or the pressure was too much. The most valuable of these are the two-headed or double obverse nickels. Imagine a coin that has the exact same design on both sides. It's a mind bender, a numismatic unicorn. How does it happen? Two obverse dies, the one carrying Jefferson's portrait, are accidentally installed in the press instead of one obverse and one reverse. And in 2000, one of these marvels surfaced. It was authenticated by the Professional Coin Grading Service, making it one of only a handful of confirmed double obverse coins in modern U.S. history. At auction, it sold for a staggering $20,520. That's over 400,000 times its face value. Think about that for a second. A 5-cent piece that could pay off a car, a dream vacation, or a hefty chunk of your student loans. But we're not talking about $20,000 nickels today. We're talking about the big leagues, the Holy Grail, the coin that has the potential to hit the $771,000 mark. Stop everything you're doing right now. Pause this video. Go check your coin jar. Seriously, we'll wait. Did you find one? Probably not. But if you do, you need to know what you're looking for. We're talking about a specific combination of errors that turns this coin into a ghost. We are talking about a super clash. A clash die error happens when the two dies, the obverse and the reverse, smash into each other without a planchet, the blank piece of metal, in between. The immense pressure transfers the design elements from one die to the other. On a standard clash die, you might see a faint outline or a letter from the other side. But in 2000, one specific Philadelphia nickel exhibited a super clash. According to errorref.com, this particular 2000 P. Jefferson nickel displays the strongest clash dies they have ever documented. Virtually every single design element was cross-transferred to the opposing die face. The clash is so detailed and so dramatic that the building of Monticello appears on the obverse, and the ghost of Jefferson appears on the reverse. It's not just a shadow. It's a full-blown apparition. This specific coin was found by a collector named David Duquette and is currently encapsulated by PCGS with a grade of AU58. This means it is almost uncirculated, a survivor. Imagine the journey that coin took. It was born in the chaos of a mint malfunction, skipped through the hands of the mint inspectors, and somehow slipped into circulation. For years, it was spent, handled, traded, and ignored. It was just another nickel, until someone with a trained eye saw the ghost. Think about the sheer irony. The very same error that made the coin imperfect in the eyes of the mint is exactly what makes it an irreplaceable masterpiece in the eyes of the collector. It's a rebellion against standardization, a stamp of uniqueness in a sea of uniformity. It is the ultimate symbol that true value often lies in the unexpected, the broken, the rare. Let's talk about the technical nuances that make these errors valuable, because this is where you separate the casual observer from the savvy investor. A coin is never just a coin, it is a story. The story of a 2000p nickel that was struck on a wrong planchet. Instead of the standard 75% copper and 25% nickel blend, imagine one of these nickels being struck on a penny planchet. That would make it lighter, thinner, and a completely different color. One such nickel, struck on a 1978 penny planchet, sold for over $12,000. Why? Because it's an anachronism. A coin from a new millennium being born on the body of a coin from the 70s. It's a time capsule. Or consider the off-center strikes. Imagine Jefferson's profile is pushed so far to the edge that part of his face is missing, with a crescent of blank metal on the opposite side. These coins are dramatic and highly sought after. If the misalignment is extreme, covering 30–50% of the surface, the value can easily exceed $600. Then you have the struck-through errors. What if a piece of debris, a grease, or even another coin got stuck between the die and the planchet? The result is a smooth, indented area on the coin, a void where the design should be. If the indentation is deep and large, collectors will pay between $600 and $900 for it. These aren't imperfections. They are battle scars, proof that the coin survived a violent birth. This brings us to the core of our search, the potential for a $771,000 valuation. Why would a nickel be worth that much? It comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, demand, and pristine condition. This $771,000 figure, while speculative for a single, unconfirmed coin, represents the absolute apex of the market. It assumes a coin of perfect, almost mythical quality. It's a figure that haunts the dreams of collectors. It's the figure that makes you want to leave work, drive home, and pour out that old coffee can of change. The current market heat is palpable. Websites like Gray Sheet, the industry standard for wholesale pricing, are showing that the Jefferson Nickel series, while lacking in major regular issue rarities, is utterly dependent on these spectacular errors. The full steps designation alone, where the steps of Monticello are crisp and unbroken, can make an MS65 nickel worth up to 10 times more than a standard MS65. The obsession with perfection is at an all-time high, and this is where the urgency comes in. These coins are not being made anymore. The minting process has changed, errors are caught more frequently, and the population of collectors is growing. Every day, these coins are being discovered, authenticated, and locked away in vaults. The window of opportunity to find one in your pocket change is slowly closing. The fear of missing out, the FOMO, is real. Imagine you're out at a garage sale, you buy a jar of coins for $20, and you find that ghost nickel. It happens. It's happened before. It will happen again. So, we reach our resolution. The resolution is a call to action. The 2000p Monticello Jefferson Nickel is not just a coin. It is a symbol of the hidden potential that exists all around us. It is a reminder that wealth is often overlooked, dismissed, and ignored by the untrained eye. The difference between a spender and a collector is not luck, is knowledge. It is the willingness to stop, to look closer, and to say, what if? The power to change your financial future, to unlock that hidden wealth, is literally sitting right under your nose. Don't be the person who spends a fortune. Be the person who finds one. Take a moment today to look at your pocket change. Look at the mint mark. Look at the condition. Look at the details. Do you see a clash? Is there an indentation? Is it off-center? If you find something suspicious, get authenticated. It could be the beginning of an extraordinary story. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've talked about one of the most valuable errors of the new millennium, but there's another coin, a silent giant, that could dwarf this nickel in terms of sheer market shock. A coin that you have probably held in your hand without a second thought. A coin that is currently hiding in plain sight, waiting to be recognized for its true worth. In our next video, we will uncover the mystery behind the elusive and ultra-valuable 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter with the extra leaf. You won't believe where it is found and how much it is worth. Subscribe now and turn on those notifications. You do not want to miss this. Stay sharp, stay curious, and keep checking your change. The treasure is out there,